Well, I'm still working on Anatoly's boat just over there, but I just had to come back and get a couple of shackles, so I couldn't resist on taking my last sunset from West Bay and Percy Island. Anatoly's up on the, I had to pull him up, it's late in the evening, and we're going to head out tomorrow maybe. And this is like one of the boats from the Vendée Globe, you know, no money, nothing, and it's always a work in progress. So Anatoly's just put the baton car back in and doing a few other odds and sods, and then we're going to go into West Bay, into Percy's hut, which is over here, where all the other people are at the moment, sitting there having their wines and everything, and we're still working on his boat. I'm leaving West Bay. It's Saturday. The forecast is 10 to 15 from the east, calming down to 10 from the northeast, which is a good day for me. Anatoly is coming with me on Wild Thing. He's right in the front at the moment, and he couldn't get his outboard started today, and anyway, I goes to go alongside him to give him a hand, and just as I'm going alongside him, he pulls his anchor up, you know. Anyway, no damage done. Just a bit of a shock when I see a boat coming backwards at me at about 4 knots as I'm trying to come alongside. Anatoly on Wild Thing, he's going pretty well actually. Yeah, in these flat waters, I think he's doing about 10 knots. Going by South Percy anyway, and I've run out of a Wild Thing, which is Anatoly. He's only got a handheld VHF, and it's just gone out of range, so I'm going to go down now to where he is, and which is way down there to leeward of me, and get back with him again. Obviously he can't go to windward as fast as me. I was hoping he would be faster than me, so I didn't want to give him any, because I thought as soon as he gets organised he'll be flying by me. He probably will. As soon as I get back there, he'll go by me. Yeah, as soon as I get back to him, which is way down there, he'll, you know, and say, oh, what's going on, and then he'll come pull his sheets on, and then he'll go by me by 12 knots. But anyway, I better go back and find out what's going on, because he's not doing very well. This is Anatoly on Wild Thing here, and just come back now to try and sort him out a bit here. See if I can trim this bloody boat up a bit so we can get a bit of a movement out of it. He looks to be going quite well, but bloody no way is he doing any good. We'll just see what we can do. We've been sailing along since about 8 o'clock, and the tide turns, was at 7, and it turns in 6 hours, and we'll have 3 knots of tide against us. So we're going to go to these islands over here, which is Hexam, and we're going to anchor there for the night basically, and resume our journey in the morning when we've got the tide with us. Yeah, that's the state of below. Got the dinghy down there, the legs, computer, and the kind of awning, the sun awning under the hatch, just in case it leaks. But today's been pretty tame actually. At the moment we're going along at 7.3, about that anyway, and we're going into Hexam, which is on the front. You know, I've not been here for a long time, and I've got Anatoly behind me, and I don't want to go through the night with him. He's a bit flaky, so I'm gonna go here and afford some shelter, find some in there, and his outboard's not going, so I'm gonna go in first and find somewhere to go, and then he can come and sail up with his main and anchor where I'm holding station. He's behind here, doing quite well now. It's going pretty good. You know, I went behind him and I got about 4 miles ahead to windward, and I thought, oh bloody hell, what's going on? So anyway, I went back to see him, and he hadn't set his sail properly. So anyway, I'm doing all right at the moment, and we'll get in here and hopefully get parked up, and then we'll sort his outboard out, and then have another go tomorrow. We're passing, it's called Arundale Mount. Just bloody hoping there'll be some shelter in here on that beach down there for now anyway. So it looks like it is from here. Anyway, we've got to Hexam and we're anchored in between the islands here. In 6 meters of water at low tide. So I think there'll be 10 meters at high tide, so we should be right here. Well, it's sunrise over Hexam. Well, we had a good night in Hexam Island, and in the anchorage here in 10 meters of water at high tide. And now we're heading off now. We've got to go around Chevron Island because their military's having exercises, and that's our thing. And then I think we're going to carry on down because it's going to be 20 knots from the northwest, they reckon. Northeast, northwest, so hopefully we get a bit northerly there as well, and we're going to go all the way down to Great Keppel Island. Is Anatoly in real thing? He was struggling. I told him to get his jib up, so he's putting his jib up now so he can sail out the place. Just with the main, he couldn't steer it. But he's pretty handicapped. It takes him, you know, like that took him 10 minutes to get that jib up, and about the same for the main. You know, he just he's got to put it on low gear and wind, and then have a rest. Yeah, the next thing to do, Anatoly, is secure your anchor over. Tack! Yeah, Anatoly's outboard doesn't work, and there's no wind, so we're towing him at about 4.5 knots at the moment towards High Island, and when we can let him go and he can sail on his own is when the breeze comes up. We're doing 2800 revs, so I'm not really going flat out or anything. I'm just charging my batteries. Yeah, I've got a fender halfway down the tow line, and mine's an anchor, one of my anchor warps, and Anatoly's got his anchor warp, and he's got a, you know, he's tied the bowline at the fender. Seems to be working quite well. Now 7:30 and we're leaving Hexam behind. We're doing 4.8 knots, and I'm towing Anatoly in Wild Thing, which is a trimarang, behind, keeping in touch on the VHF on 72. And we're heading for High Island basically, or we've got to go round Chevron Island because there's a military exercise on. So we're just heading out that way now, and hopefully when the tow line goes slack, then I'll let him go. when the wind comes up. We've been towing now for about 2.5 hours now. We're doing about 4.5 knots and over the ground at the moment, and there's not much wind. We're in contact on 72 on the VHF, and I'm down here editing my movies. This is the one leaving Airlie Beach. Behind. I'm at the Percy, past the Percy now. So if anything goes wrong with the tow, he's just got to give me a call and I'll shoot up there. Otherwise I'll be pulling it for a few more hours. So I've got the earplugs in and just staying out in the sun. We've been motoring all the way from Hexam like this. We had a little bit of relief for about 20 minutes when we thought we might be able to sail, but we've just been motoring at 4 knots, pulling them along at about 2,800 revs, and that's equating to about 2 litres an hour, and so the tank's just about empty, so I've just put 20 litres in, so that should take us till the midnight. And if the wind don't come in by then, you know, we're having to get our canoes out. Anyway, there's got to be a sea breeze this afternoon. It's hot today with this no wind, so we'll sail along the coast, and when the wind stops we'll anchor. Came from basically where the camera is, center of the camera is now, and we've had to go around Chevrolet Island, which is in the center of the camera now, basically by about 6 nautical miles. Center of the photograph there is center of the camera is Cape Townsend. Come on round is Strong Tide Passage. Island Head Creek's in there. That's Pearl Bay there, and Port Clinton is where the land stops again there, and then there's the entrance to Port Clinton. We're hoping to just keep pushing on and get to Yeppoon and give these all a miss, because if we're hoping for the land breeze this afternoon, and then hopefully that'll push us along the coast past the military exercises, because we've got to stay 5 miles off the coast. And we've just finished with the tide now, so we'll have in a minute 2 knots of tide against us when we're doing 4 knots. So we're going to stand on the spot nearly for 6 hours. We're just banking on the wind. If the wind dies out, we'll go into Pearl Bay. Fast thing. Okay. Well, finally at 3 o'clock we've got a reaching wind, and we're cracking along at about 4 knots. So, you know, gods are looking after us. So we're gonna head for Ross Creek at Yeppoon. I'm just goose winged, doing about 4 knots through the water, over the ground anyway, and probably 5 through the water. And over there in the centre of the camera is Wild Thing. We seem to be going at about the same speed, and which is quite good really, and we're hoping both to go into Ross Creek. He hasn't got an outboard, so he's got no motor, so I'm going to tow him in at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, hopefully, if all goes to plan and the wind keeps up. Yeah, sun setting over a beam of us over Port Clinton. It's been a good day. We left Hexam this morning. We spent actually 9 hours motoring, and absolutely not a breath of wind basically, and then the wind sprang up about 3 o'clock, and we've steadily I'm just goose winged, going down at about 5 knots, and we hope to be in Yeppoon by 6 in the morning, or at Ross Creek, anchored off Ross Creek. High tide is 7, so we can actually go in, but we'll just have to see what we do. Well, I'm heading into Ross Creek again, to my usual little spot in there. They've even built a beautiful swimming pool just here. There now with a infinity edge. Brilliant bit of kit for the public to use. There's absolutely nobody there at the moment. And this would be a simple operation, but I've got Anatoly here on Real Thing. Oh, sorry, on Wild Thing. We've sailed up. I've brought him up from Percy Island basically. I thought I'd better shepherd him all the way because he's a bit out of his depth, but he's got no outboard, and you know, I think he's done a Yacht Masters in somewhere in France or something, I don't know where, in Germany or wherever it is, but Yacht Masters doesn't get you the experience to play around this area. Yeah, it's really nice in here today, and thank God there's no boats in here where we're going, so yeah, and hopefully we'll have a good find a good spot for him. So I'm still undecided at the moment where the hell I'm going to put him. There's a couple of places. I'm just going to see how he maneuvers, and then I'll work it out. I'm just leaving Ross Creek and heading over to Great Keppel Island, and I kind of cut my feet, so I'm going over there to recover. I've left Anatoly here in Wild Thing. He's gone off to get some more anchoring material from BCF, and yeah, good luck to him. Anyway, that's the best I can do for him, is leave him here. If he smashes the boat up in here, well, there's nothing you can do for him. All right, feel a bit sad, but anyway, you can only help somebody so far. Yeah, we're just heading out of here at the moment. There's 2 meters of water. 2.7 just here. That's where the tide is on the beach. Go to Rosslyn Bay Marina and go alongside the fuel wharf and get some fuel, fill myself up. .4 here. Passing the rock wall, and thank Christ we're out of there. And that's what the entrance looks like when you're on the leads. That's where that knob is Rosslyn Bay Marina, and that's where we're going for now. I'm going to go and get some fuel and probably head out to the Keppels. It's $50 a night in the marina, and it's going to be very hot today, and the next few days is going to be sweltering. I don't really want to be in the marina in a berth. You never get any air in your friggin' boat, so I'm going to just push on and go to the Keppels and read a book, and I'll probably come back and see my mate Graham when I've finished.